It's been about a year since I've talked about all of the different Pro Controller alternatives. At the time, there were only really wired options. Now, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of wireless options. Only a few can compete with the high standards of the official Nintendo Pro Controller, but all of them land significantly under that price point. First, let's talk about what makes a good Pro Controller alternative. I think the number one concern for most people is the price. The official Nintendo Switch Pro Controller is expensive. It's $70. So that's a big reason why people would be looking for alternatives. You can often find the official Pro Controller on sale, but not for much cheaper. Also be careful because some variants are more expensive than retail price. This should go without saying, but a Pro Controller alternative should have all of the same buttons as an official Pro Controller and in the same layout so it works well for all games. It also has to be a good quality piece of hardware. A lot of times when you're looking at a lower price point, the manufacturer has to skimp on quality. Motion controls are pretty essential too, since pretty much every Nintendo game requires at least some form of motion input. I'd say NFC is probably least important. If you absolutely need to tap in an amiibo, you can always just grab one of your Joy-Con. It's not something that you're gonna need to do with any relevant frequency anyway. I guess the first one we should talk about is this piece of shit. I couldn't even tell you who makes it. When I bought it over a year ago, the Amazon listing just said Bluetooth motion controller for the Nintendo Switch. This was the only wireless Pro Controller alternative at the time. This particular one says it was made by Sunway Tech, but you can also get one made by Paw Hits, or Maxius, or Wettoff, or WizBlue, or Union-like, or... Now I'm no detective, I'm no scientist, but it seems to me like this is just a generic Chinese Bluetooth controller that all of these companies are slapping their name on and drop shipping. It's wireless, the D-pad is nice, the motion controls work well, but the whole thing feels like garbage. This is by far the cheapest one on the list. You can find one for just $25, but there's a reason why it's so cheap. Only get this thing if you're on a real tight budget. It's also worth mentioning that Will recently had some trouble syncing this thing to his Nintendo Switch, and it seemed like kind of a big problem. So let's have him talk about it.
So the generic controller, I don't remember the exact name of the company, but you know the one I'm talking about. I couldn't hook that up to my Switch at all. None of the syncing options were working properly, and eventually got to a point where as soon as I thought I was able to sync it, my Switch just reset itself automatically. Just, rebooted on its own, powered off, powered back on, went right back to the home screen. Very strange. I've never had that happen with a controller before, even on the Switch.
He's done? Okay. I didn't have any of these problems syncing this controller, but it's probably worth mentioning, and you should probably just shell out the extra couple of bucks for something a little bit better. Like, for example, this Hori controller. It's got all of the same features as the previous controller. Even though the Hori controller feels plasticky, it still feels light years better than the generic Bluetooth controller. The thumbsticks are real big, and so are the grips. It also has a nice fat D-pad. I'd say this controller is for someone with big hands. If you think the Pro Controller might be too small for you, you might want to give this one a shot. This controller charges over micro USB, which isn't ideal since the standard is switching over to USB-C, but it would be totally fine if this controller came with a charging cable. It does not, so you need to open up one of your wire drawers and scrounge around for an old micro USB cable. The official Pro Controller uses USB Type-C, so now I need to have two cables plugged into my Switch to keep everything all charged up. Very similarly to the Hori controller is the PowerA Enhanced Wireless Controller. It's enhanced because it has two macro buttons on the back. By holding down the middle button, you can program any button to these back macro buttons. Unfortunately, you can't map clicking in the thumbsticks to the back. Back in the day when I used to play Call of Duty with my Razer Onza controller, I had one of these macro buttons programmed to R3, which was melee attack. That way I wouldn't have to click in the stick, I could just hit one of the bumpers and it would melee attack. But these macro buttons are great for 3D games where you would want to keep your fingers on both of the sticks at all times, like, for example, Warframe or Fortnite. A lot of people would use these macro buttons to map jump to them so that they can keep their fingers on the sticks and shoot while jumping. Or maybe some of the building buttons in Fortnite. It's been a while since I played that. I was also never good at building, so you figure it out. Other than that, this controller does not feature a rechargeable battery. And the thumbsticks are tiny, even smaller than the official Pro Controller. So is the D-pad, which is raised pretty high, but still feels good, especially where it's placed. Your thumb just kind of lands right on it. Overall, it's a solid feeling controller. Get this if you feel like the macro buttons could help you in any way, or if you have tiny hands. PowerA also makes this wireless Gamecube controller, which I talked about in my Smash controller video, but I left out the fact that it has motion controls because I didn't realize that it has motion controls. That's not relevant for Smash Brothers in the slightest, but it's super relevant if you're looking for a good Pro Controller alternative. Since this controller has every button that is on a Pro Controller, you can use this to play any Switch game. Just keep in mind that the button layout is pretty weird. It's good for games where the A button is the main focus, so Mario Kart works great. Games like Zelda might feel a little weird, where Y is the attack button, but Super Mario Odyssey works surprisingly well, because B and A are interchangeable, and so are Y and X, so using just Y and A feels natural. The only thing I don't like about this controller is that the shoulder buttons are very springy. The official Pro Controller doesn't register pressure on the ZL and ZR buttons, so there's no reason for this controller to feel this way. And that's why the wired PDP controller is my favorite GameCube controller for the Switch.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the best wireless controllers for the Switch.
So in that regard, if you're looking for a good controller for Smash and something that will work well for a bunch of different games, then this controller isn't a bad option. Just keep in mind that this layout won't be great for everything. And it also takes AA batteries. I don't know if that changes anything for you. My favorite controller for the Nintendo Switch, possibly my favorite controller ever, is the 8BitDo SN30 Pro, specifically the Game Boy version. For 2D games, nothing beats this. The D-pad is phenomenal. This is the ideal way to play a game like New Super Mario U Deluxe. It also has motion, and this is the only controller on this list to have rumble. The only downside to a controller like this is that for games that require you to have your hands on both sticks frequently, so most 3D games, the thumbstick layout isn't ideal. It's fine for games that require some thumbstick input, but if that's going to be the default position of your hands, then one of these other Pro Controller alternatives might be a better option. I love this controller because I personally play a lot of 2D games. When I'm playing my Switch, I switch off between the official Nintendo Switch Pro Controller and this 8BitDo controller pretty frequently depending on what game I'm playing. If it's a 2D game where the D-pad can control movement, I'm using the 8BitDo controller. If it's a 3D game with a free look rotating camera where I need the right thumbstick, I'm probably using the Pro Controller. A lot of people on my Smash Brothers controller video asked me if this controller would be great for Smash. Very no. You can't map the D-pad to movement, so you have to use the thumbsticks. Again, the thumbsticks work great. They're just not in an ideal position. They're there just in case you need them. The SN30 Pro also sports a USB-C input for charging, so it makes it easy to switch off between this and the Pro Controller. You can get away with using the 8BitDo controller for all of your Switch games, but I think it's best just for the 2D stuff. For everything else, it's just okay. I realize I forgot to mention price for all these controllers. All of them retail for $50 unless otherwise mentioned. The 8BitDo controller, you can actually find for just $40. So for the ones that actually mimic a Pro Controller, that's generally $20 cheaper. And most of you are here because you want something that functions just like the official Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, but is significantly cheaper. However, the official Nintendo Switch Pro controller is going to fulfill most of your needs. I know that I said that the SN30 Pro is my favorite controller, but it's only my favorite because it fulfills a very specific need. A Pro controller is a better all-around controller. It's not ideal for 2D games, but if you can't afford 2 controllers, which I don't blame you, you can make do with just this one. If you really need to shave off that $20, choose the one on this list that is best for you. But if you want my 2 cents, just wait until you can afford an official Pro controller. Or wait till you find one on sale. It feels the best, it has motion controls and rumble, it has NFC for amiibos, it has a USB Type-C port, and it comes with a USB Type-C cable. Games are developed with this controller in mind. You can't go wrong here. It's expensive for a reason. But if you absolutely have to cheap out, then all of the controllers on this list are perfect for all different types of people, except for the generic Bluetooth one. That one is trash. So what do you guys think about all of these different Pro controller alternatives? What do you use as your main daily driver for your Nintendo Switch? Is it an 8-bit Duke controller? Is it a Pro controller? Are you one of those whack jobs who's still using a Joy-Con grip? You take your 2 cents, you leave it in the comments below, or you can add me on Twitter or any and all of this other social media garbage that's in the description below. Here at the Wulff Den, we got new videos all of the time. Our schedule is in a pinned tweet over on our Twitter, which is at the Wulff Den. It's different than my personal Twitter. We also have live streams here on YouTube and over on twitch.tv/WulffDen. You can support us monetarily on either of these platforms. Here on YouTube, you just click that join button. Over on Twitch, you use Amazon Prime. Ain't you done never heard of Amazon Prime? If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription on Twitch. Use it with us. Link that account to your Discord account. Then you get videos like this one early, except maybe without this one because I'm filming it at 2 in the morning. We also play games once a month with supporters, which means if you support us on Twitch using Twitch Prime for free, you can play a game with us. And this month, we're gonna do it on Twitch. Doesn't matter where you support us, but you gotta be in our Discord. So support us somewhere. Link it to your Discord account, get in our supporter-only Discord. Then we're gonna play Smash Brothers this Thursday over on twitch.tv/WulffDen. So if you wanna get Falcon spiked by yours truly, yeah!
Yo, that was pretty cool.
Hey, Wendy.
All the Wulff Den apparel is cool and all, but where did that package put?
You like that? Oh, through the freaking map, baby. No, does he? No. Does he? Nope. Who sucks? I'm sorry. Hold on, let me take my headphone out. Who sucks here? Come on down to twitch.tv/WulffDen on Thursday. But if you don't want to support us that way, that's totally fine. If you like fashion, you can go to WulffDenApparel.com. Look at this shirt I've been wearing this whole time. You didn't even know that I made this. What about this? It's cold. You need a hoodie or a jacket? What about this? Huh? It's like an NES. You bet you didn't even know it. But if you're a cheapskate, that's fine too. Because all you gotta do to help us out is subscribe to the channel. That's the best thing you can do. And share this video with a friend who has a Switch and is looking for, you gotta get them off the Joy-Con grip. Get them off that Joy-Con grip and onto one of these controllers. Save them. Sending this video to somebody is saving them. Is that too cultish? Do we care? Probably not. Thank you very much. Have a good week.